In the annals of maritime tragedy, few events evoke as much fascination and horror as the sinking of the RMS Titanic. Yet, what if I told you that the truth of that fateful night is far more twisted and chilling than history would have you believe? Come, let me unravel for you the harrowing tale of 5 timelines, each more disturbing than the last. April 12, 1912, the North Atlantic. The RMS Titanic, the epitome of opulence and technological marvel, sailed majestically through the frigid waters on its maiden voyage. Captain Edward Walker, a seasoned mariner with decades of experience, stood at the helm, gazing out over the moonlit sea. Little did he know that an ancient terror lurked in the inky depths below, waiting to unleash its fury. Days before the fateful collision, Captain Walker had sensed an unease in the air, an instinctive feeling that something unnatural was stalking his vessel. Whispers among the crew spoke of strange sightings in the distant waves, of shadows that seemed to follow the ship's wake. Captain Walker dismissed these rumors as mere sailors' tales, attributing the unease to the nervous excitement surrounding the maiden voyage. As the Titanic sailed through the icy waters, the unease grew. Captain Walker found himself on the bridge, staring into the abyss below. The once confident captain was now consumed by a gnawing sense of dread. He observed patterns in the ocean's currents that seemed irregular, as if a colossal force moved beneath the surface. On the evening of April 14th, Captain Walker paced the bridge, unable to shake the premonition that had settled over him. The atmosphere among the crew mirrored the captain's unease, creating an eerie tension aboard the grand ship. Suddenly, the night was shattered by an otherworldly roar that reverberated through the hull. The ship's deck trembled as an immense force collided with the Titanic's starboard side. Panic gripped the passengers as the vessel listed, the once sturdy ship now at the mercy of a relentless assailant. Captain Walker, his premonition now a nightmarish reality, rushed to the bridge. Through the portholes, he glimpsed the colossal form of the megalodon, its immense jaws clamped onto the ship's hull. The ocean's depths had unleashed a primordial force upon the grandeur of human engineering. The megalodon's attack was relentless, tearing into the ship's infrastructure with a ferocity that defied comprehension. Panic swept through the Titanic as passengers and crew struggled to comprehend the terror unfolding beneath the waves. Captain Walker issued frantic orders, desperately attempting to save the ship and its passengers. The crew fought valiantly against the chaos, launching distress signals into the frigid night. But the megalodon's onslaught proved insurmountable. The Titanic, once believed to be unsinkable, succumbed to the relentless assault. As the ship plunged into the icy abyss, Captain Walker clung to the bridge's railing, witnessing the devastation wrought by an ancient leviathan. The megalodon, having exacted its vengeance, vanished into the depths, leaving behind a trail of wreckage and despair. The Titanic, once a symbol of human achievement, now rested on the ocean floor, a tragic testament to the titanic clash between human hubris and the unforgiving forces that lurked in the heart of the ocean. Captain Walker, the lone witness to the megalodon's wrath, would carry the weight of that night, haunted by the realization that the abyss held secrets and terrors that transcended human understanding. I'm writing this to myself and to anyone reading this, inside of my journal for safekeeping, so that I would also never forget that night for as long as I am still alive. I was a man with a checkered past, a former criminal thief seeking redemption in the shadows of the night. When the opportunity arose to board the Titanic, I saw it as my chance to escape the life of crime and start anew. As the grand ship set sail, I reveled in the peace and tranquility of the open sea, the promise of a better life beckoning on the horizon. But amidst the luxury and opulence of the Titanic, there lurked a shadow, a green glow pulsating on the distant horizon, like a beacon drawing me into its eerie embrace. At first I dismissed it as a trick of the light, a figment of my overactive imagination. But as the hours passed and the glow persisted, my curiosity turned to unease. It was late into the night when I first caught sight of the ghostly apparition, a glowing green pirate ship emerging from behind one of the massive icebergs that dotted the ocean. My heart pounded in my chest as I beheld the spectral vessel, its sails billowing in the wind as it bore down upon the Titanic with malevolent intent. At the helm of the ghost ship stood a figure that chilled me to the bone, a half-man, half-skeleton, his hollow eyes fixed upon the Titanic with a hunger that sent shivers down my spine. He was the captain of the damned, a spectral terror from a bygone era, and he had set his sights on the grand ship that dared to trespass upon his domain. As the ghost ship drew closer, panic swept through the passengers and crew of the Titanic, the once tranquil voyage descending into chaos and terror. The captain barked orders, his voice drowned out by the screams of the doomed as they scrambled for safety. But even as the Titanic fought back with all the might of its formidable arsenal, it was no match for the spectral menace that assailed it from the depths of the ocean. The ghost ship unleashed a barrage of cannon fire, tearing through the Titanic's hull with devastating precision. In the chaos that ensued, I found myself faced with a choice: flee to safety and abandon the doomed ship, or stay and fight alongside my fellow passengers in a battle against the forces of darkness. With a heavy heart, I made my decision, knowing that whatever awaited me in the depths below, it was a fate I could not escape. As the Titanic sank beneath the waves, consumed by the darkness of the ocean, I braced myself for the unknown, the green glow of the ghost ship fading into the abyss as I descended into the depths of the sea. And though the waters closed in around me, swallowing me whole, I knew that my journey was far from over, that the horrors that lurked beneath the waves would haunt me for all eternity. In the annals of maritime history, few tragedies loom as large as the sinking of the RMS Titanic. Yet, amidst the countless theories and conjectures surrounding its demise, one chilling possibility stands out. A theory that suggests the true cause of the disaster lies not in mechanical failure or human error, but in the fragile psyche of the ship's captain. As the Titanic embarked on its ill-fated voyage across the Atlantic, the captain found himself burdened by the weight of his own melancholy. Haunted by personal demons and plagued by the specter of failure, he struggled to find solace in the vast expanse of the ocean. As the ship sailed onward, its towering silhouette slicing through the icy waters of the North Atlantic, the captain's mood grew increasingly despondent. He watched with hollow eyes as the endless horizon stretched out before him, a bleak reminder of the emptiness that lurked within his own soul. It was on the fateful night of April 14th, 1912, that the captain's depression reached its nadir. As the Titanic approached the frigid waters of the North Atlantic, a looming iceberg appeared on the horizon, a hulking mass of ice that spelled disaster for the unsinkable ship. In a moment of tragic resignation, the captain made a fateful decision: to steer the Titanic directly towards the iceberg, embracing the icy embrace of the ocean, rather than confronting the demons that tormented him from within. As the ship struck the iceberg with a deafening roar, its fate was sealed, and the lives of over 1,500 passengers and crew were irrevocably altered. In the aftermath of the disaster, the true cause of the Titanic's sinking remained shrouded in mystery. While investigations pointed to a combination of factors, from inadequate safety measures to poor navigation, the theory of the captain's depression, casting a dark shadow over the final moments of the ship's voyage, remained a haunting possibility, a reminder of the fragility of the human spirit in the face of overwhelming tragedy. And so, as the Titanic rests in its watery grave, a testament to the hubris of man and the capricious whims of fate, the theory of the captain's depression serves as a chilling reminder of the power of the mind to shape the course of history, and the devastating consequences that can arise when darkness reigns unchecked. In the annals of tragic maritime history, the sinking of the RMS Titanic stands as a haunting reminder of the fragility of human life. Yet, amidst the countless theories and speculations surrounding its demise, one chilling possibility emerges. A theory that suggests the true cause of the disaster lies not in mechanical failure or navigational error, but in the twisted machinations of a vengeful man consumed by rage and jealousy. It begins with a love story turned sour, a tale of betrayal and heartbreak that would set the stage for one of the greatest maritime tragedies of all time. At the center of this dark narrative stands a man, once consumed by passion, but now consumed by bitterness and resentment. A man whose abusive tendencies had driven his wife into the arms of another. As news of his wife's remarriage spread, the man's fury knew no bounds. Blinded by jealousy and consumed by a desire for revenge, he concocted a twisted plan to ensure that his former wife's happiness would be short-lived. Knowing that she and her new husband would be embarking on the maiden voyage of the Titanic, he resolved to follow them aboard the ill-fated ship, masquerading as a crew member to conceal his true identity. For days, he prowled the corridors of the Titanic, his eyes burning with malice as he watched his ex-wife from afar, his anger simmering beneath the surface like a volcano on the verge of eruption. And then, on the night of April 14th, 1912, as the Titanic sliced through the icy waters of the North Atlantic, his carefully laid plans were set into motion. With a heart full of hatred and a mind clouded by rage, he made his way to the ship's hull, intent on unleashing a devastating explosion that would tear the vessel apart from within. But as he prepared to carry out his sinister deed, he was oblivious to the fact that fate had already sealed the Titanic's doom, a massive iceberg looming ever closer on the horizon, a silent sentinel of death and destruction. As the Titanic collided with the iceberg in a deafening roar of metal and ice, the man's twisted smile turned to one of grim satisfaction. For in that moment of chaos and carnage, he saw his revenge realized, a final, brutal act of retribution against the woman who had dared to defy him. But as the icy waters closed in around him, swallowing the Titanic and all who sailed upon her, the man's victory turned to ashes in his mouth. For in his blind pursuit of vengeance, he had become the architect of his own demise, a victim of his own rage and despair, lost to the depths of the ocean for all eternity. And so, as the Titanic rests in its watery grave, a testament to the folly of man and the cruel whims of fate, the true cause of its sinking remains shrouded in darkness, a chilling reminder of the horrors that can arise when love turns to hate and passion gives way to madness. In this mind-bending reality, the sinking of the Titanic is not a singular event, but a recurring nightmare trapped in an endless loop of time. Each voyage is doomed to end in tragedy, with the ship colliding with the iceberg again and again, the screams of the doomed echoing through the corridors of eternity. As the cycle repeats ad infinitum, those aboard the Titanic are condemned to relive their final moments for all time, trapped in a purgatory of their own making. And there you have it, 5 timelines of terror, each more horrifying than the last. So the next time you hear stories of the Titanic, remember that the truth is far stranger and far more sinister than you could ever imagine.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.